Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we got some very big news as former President Donald Trump was indicted in the Mar-A-Lago documents case. Now, we don't know the specifics of the indictment yet, and we won't until Donald Trump is arraigned in a Florida court on Tuesday. However, the special counsel has promised a speaking indictment where they will lay out the case they want to make against the former president, and there is some reporting out there that suggests that there are three main categories of charges. Number 1, willful retention of documents, number 2, obstruction of justice, and number 3, an as-of-yet unspecified conspiracy charge. That charge, I'm sure, is specified within the indictment, but we don't know what it is yet. So, instead of kind of diving down the rabbit hole as to what this all might mean, instead, I wanted to talk about what I'm going to be looking for regarding these three different classifications of charges when the speaking indictment is finally unveiled on Tuesday. Let's start off with the willful retention of national security information, as I think this is going to be the most straightforward section of the indictment. All the government has to show is that Donald Trump knew that he had national security information, that he knew he wasn't supposed to have that information, and that he refused to return it when asked. Now, for the first point, we would likely see evidence such as the recording of Donald Trump speaking to reporters about a proposed attack plan on Iran that Trump admitted was classified. For the second point, we would expect to see records of briefings that Trump received from both his lawyers and representatives of the National Archives that explained why he wasn't allowed to retain those documents. And of course, in Section 3, we would expect to see both the subpoena that Trump received ordering him to return those documents, and then the evidence that was procured during the search of Mar-A-Lago, where they showed that Donald Trump had many more documents that he claimed he did not have when they were originally subpoenaed. Overall, I expect this to be very straightforward, cut and dried. No real surprises here. Next up, we have the obstruction of justice charges, and I think the thing that I'm going to be most focused on looking for in this section of the indictment is evidence coming from Trump's own lawyers. We know that Jack Smith was able to repeatedly pierce the attorney-client privilege through the crime-fraud exception, and we also know that Donald Trump's lawyers did sign a document after the subpoena saying that here are the documents we found, we've conducted a thorough search, there are no more documents at Mar-A-Lago, despite the fact that the search warrant turned up quite a few more documents. Now, there has been some reporting that suggests that Trump lied to his lawyers at this point, but it'll be very interesting to hear what they might have said in testimony as to what Donald Trump told them about what documents may or may not be at Mar-A-Lago, and how that might have contributed to a possible obstruction of the FBI's investigation, and therefore an obstruction of justice. Lastly, we have the as-of-yet unspecified conspiracy charges. And this could range from a very simple conspiracy to obstruct justice, which would be something along the lines of the fire drills that Trump apparently held to ensure that his employees could move documents in such a way that the feds wouldn't find them. Or it could range all the way up to conspiracy to commit espionage, as we know Jack Smith was also looking into the Trump organization's foreign business dealings. But at this point, we really don't know anything about the nature of those charges. But the one thing that is common about all conspiracy charges is that they involve multiple people. So the thing that I'm going to be most focused on in this section is who else is involved. Either who else might be indicted, or, more importantly, who might have flipped on Donald Trump and given testimony against him. I think that's what's going to tell us the most about any possible conspiracy-related charge, and I think that this conspiracy section might be the most dangerous for the former president. But at the end of the day, this is the section that we know the least about, and it's definitely the section I'm going to be most interested in seeing on Tuesday. Overall, this doesn't look very good for the former president. The fact that the special counsel is even taking the rather extraordinary step of indicting a former president means that Jack Smith must be very confident in his ability to win this case in court. The nice thing for the rest of us is that he is leading with this speaking indictment, so we are going to get a lot of insight into the case law and evidence that Jack Smith believes will prove that Donald Trump is guilty of the crimes that he is being charged with. I'm certainly going to be very interested in reading it when it comes out on Tuesday, and once I've had a chance to go through it, I will of course be covering it here on the channel. In the meantime, if you have any questions, leave me a comment, and until then, think about it.